All right, so we have some roles locked in. We've set our howdies. We have people coming in, and I think we're ready to make our Order of the Scribe Wizard. I wonder if we can top Prince Ali. We'll find out. Quingar, what was yours from yesterday? Because I thought we used it. I had a clear slate for tonight. But if you want to lock something in, Quingar, you certainly can. Things have been awesome for you? Oh, great. Because after FOV, look, I know that, it was a couple months ago, you were like, oh my goodness, y'all, I am stressing out, and we were able to just sort of sit down and breathe and talk about options. And after FOV, if things are going your way, that is awesome, and I'm super duper glad to hear. I really am. Oh, Quingar, I believe we used your role from last night because I had a blank slate coming into tonight. So if you want to use some inspiration for another role, you may. Pardon me. The roles that are currently taken, background and race, are guaranteed locks in. And then Crumdrade wanted to roll for anything but just sort of get a priority and a shout out. But why don't we begin the process? So Crumdrade, why don't you actually get us going here? Why don't you type exclamation point 1D100 to give us our character's sex, or determine if it's a multi-class character, in which case we're going to roll again. Exclamation point 1D100. Stops on a 25. We have a female character. And now for the race, Bullet Club Puppet, lock this one in. Bullet Club, type exclamation point 1D10. Bullet Club, you there? Hello? There we go. Oh, Puppy had an accident. Oh, alright. Well, I hope it wasn't too bad. If you can, Bullet Club, type exclamation point 1D10. And then if you got to get back to mopping stuff up, I totally understand. And you know what? It happens, right? They're puppies. They don't know any better. I'm not doing it to upset you, so... 6. We have a Half-Orc. A female Half-Orc, Order of the Scribe Wizard. So we're going to go to Half-Orc. Oh, okay, alright, it is all cleaned up. Quingar, if you can type exclamation point 1D6 on a 1, 2, or 3, for, I guess, like a roleplay, like tiebreaker, we'll see if she favors her human descent more. On a 4, 5, 6, she'll favor her orcish descent more. Oh, you didn't need to redeem a dice roll on that, but thank you anyway. So a 2. So she favors her human side. That could be culturally, linguistically, or even genetically. She might appear more human than orc. Or that's even presuming we want the other half to be human. I guess it should be favor other. Favor orc or non-orc. So we'll come up here. So we have a female half-orc. Favors, I mean, I'll put human. But, I don't know. We'll see where our imaginations take us. Now, we do know that we're making a wizard. I'm going to put Scribe up here. And we're making a level 20 wizard. Now we need to roll for alignment. And who else is hanging out with us here? Could I have Death Angel? Will you please type exclamation point 1D100 and give us an alignment? Stops on a 2. We are lawful good. Lawful good, female half-orc, Order of the Scribe Wizard. Okay. We already know we're level 100. Now let's determine if we're taking any feats. Palos, are you still out there, Palos? Or Fish? Who else might be hanging out as well? Lady Dire Doggo, are you hanging out with us again tonight? Marlboro Man? Oh, there's, you're lurking? Well, I'll tell you what, Lady Dire Doggo, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 to help us build this character? I'm calling you out, lady. Rolled a 49, so we're going to take all ability score improvements. We're going to get all 5 of them, no feats. Alright, next up, for the background, this is what Dark Wolf wanted to roll. So Dark Wolf, roll a 1d20 in chat, please. Stops on a 17. She is a soldier. Is or was. We'll find out. Soldier. And Josh, will you please type exclamation point 1d8 to help us determine what kind of a soldier she is? Soldier 4. I don't know what that is, and it doesn't matter right now. We're simply seeding the character sheet with the random numbers, and then we will determine what that means in another step. Alright, now I need... let's see. Who else might be lurking out there that, I don't know. Malice of Plague, are you around? Or, oh, Raz, you're here, aren't you? Rytel, are you here? I don't mind calling on people twice, but if there's anyone out there that would like to roll, I want to give, a first roll to people first. Gotcha, Afterfall. Thank you for letting me know. Rytel, you already love her? Well, let's see if you love her even more. Rytel, will you please roll exclamation point 4d6? And we'll use the first 3 of those to determine her ideal, bond, and flaw. Dark Wolf, will you roll 1d8 to give us our first personality trait? Dark Wolf is giving us personality trait 1. And Rytel is giving us our ideal of 5, bond of 5, and a flaw of 3. And if I need a spare d6, we have that 1 floating. Let's see. Josh, will you roll a d8 to give us our second personality trait? Stops on a 3. There we go. We already know Wizard, and we already know that we're going to be Order of the Scribe, so we're not worried about that. There's nothing like favorite enemy or whatnot. So now let's go to Quingar. Quingar, will you please type exclamation point 1d100 to let us know how old is our half-orc? Stops on an 82. I think we've had 3 elderly characters. 3 elderly characters. And then can I have Kromdrade, will you roll a d10 to help us determine how old she is? It's just one of those weeks, right, Tal? 6, so she is 57 years old. All right, now we were floating a 1 from your roll, Rytel, and I'll tell you what, Rytel, why don't you roll 1d6 in chat to give us our the rest of our weight modifier? Pardon. Bullet Club, will you please roll 1d10 in chat to help us get our first height modifier? You know, the entire setting for the Tuesday game came about because we coincidentally made an all-evil party one week. So let's see, we have a 9, and we have a 1 and a 2, so that's going to be a total of 3. And so I need one more d10, and let's see, Josh, can you roll 1d10 in chat and give us our second height modifier? 7. So we're adding 16 inches to her. So she is 4 foot 26 inches. 4 foot 26 inches tall. And we're going to take that 16 times 3. So it's going to be 8, carry the 1. We're adding 48 pounds to her base weight. She's 188 pounds at 6'2". Now, if you think because she's elderly, I don't know, maybe she has some osteoporosis or whatever, and she's shrunk down, you can modify the height and weight, right? We've included a note here for just that. If you roll a child or you roll elderly or something, you know, adjust this as you'd like. You know, you think maybe she walks with a bit of a crook in her back because she's a scribe and she's just lived her whole life kind of stooped over a desk. Talk about that then. Or maybe she's just been able to visit the chiropractor. She has a good health plan being a scribe. So we have our starting information, and it's now time to crack open. Y'all knew this was coming. I hope you brought your books. I hope you brought your books all. We're going to go to chapter 4, and we're going to look at her background. By the way, that's the Tavern Brawl scene that was on that character folio one earlier. Soldier, here we go. Athletics and intimidation are going to be our skills. One type of a gaming set and vehicles land. Pardon the yawn. Lady Doggo, will you please type 1d4, exclamation point 1d4 in chat? Stops on a 2. And so she... Dragon chess. Dragon chess. Which is probably like some kind of a, like a 3D chess. Pardon. Oops. Ah, go back! That's exactly what we needed. There's our samurai. We're gonna get an insignia of rank. A trophy taken from a fallen enemy. Trophy will be, let's make it a trinket. And let's explore what that trinket is. Dark Wolf, will you please roll a D100 in chat? And let's find out what she has taken from a fallen enemy, or maybe even a fallen comrade. It's whatever we want it to be, but we're abiding by the spirit of the prompt. Actually, I got to go back to this. Dark Wolf might not be here. Let's have... Death Angel Shadow, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 to give us our trinket, our trophy taken from an enemy or found on a battlefield or whatnot? Stops on a 3. A gold coin minted in an unknown land. So perhaps that could be inspirational to us. It could be driving us. Maybe that is an enemy she slew in combat, and she kept that coin as a memory. Something along those lines. Let's see if we can find how this could be incorporated into the character somehow. So now we're going to go back to Chapter 4. And we're going to find our samurai again. There she is. A dragon chest set, a set of common clothes, and a belt pouch containing 10 gapuz. Cromdrada is saying, "Okay, I'm calling it. It writes itself." We'll see. It does seem to happen all the time, but we'll see as it happens, as it unfolds. Now, we rolled for her being soldier number 4. Cavalry. So she knows, she knows how to ride a horse or mounted combat, or at least she did. If you don't want to talk to your DM, and maybe your DM says, "Yeah, we can give you animal handling," or might give you the mounted combatant feat in exchange for something or for free. We could simply say that, you know what, when I was younger, I used to ride horses, and these old bones, maybe they're not as good anymore, or maybe she still does. These are all things to consider and to prompt communication at your table. So she is or was in the cavalry. She's a scribe. Maybe she was a delivery, a messenger. We'll see. Her background feature is that of military rank. You have a military rank from your career as a soldier, and that can get us access to encampments, transportation, supplies, and of course, maybe we even delivered supplies. We say we're in the cavalry. Maybe maybe we did see combat in that regard, but maybe we also were in caravans that were bringing supplies forward. And so we were a cavalry unit, but maybe she did or did not see combat, or she wasn't supposed to, even though she was cavalry, but she did anyway, and something good or bad might have happened because of that. She found that gold coin on a corpse or something. We'll see. The Half-Orc Express. Now, her personality. Let's explore her personality. Number 1. I'm always polite and respectful. She says please and thank you. She always salutes. She keeps proper posture. She, even if she's upset, perhaps she maybe not keeps a cool head, but she'll at least give a polite warning before she slaps someone upside the head. I'm always polite and respectful, and number 3, I've lost too many friends, and I'm slow to make new ones. So we have an old soldier. She's seen a lot of friends, and friends could even be other horses, not even just the humanoids and the soldiers that rode them. This could simply be she's seen a lot of people die in war, doing their jobs or getting ambushed, or by bureaucracy being too slow or too quick on an action. So she's seen a lot of loss. She's survived it, but she's seen it. She's seen encampments burnt out. Maybe she was supposed to... what if she was supposed to deliver a message like, there's enemy forces moving. By the time that she arrives to the camp, that she was supposed to deliver the letter, it's already been razed to the ground because the enemy forces beat her there and surprised and killed everyone. We could take this in a lot of really good directions, and this could even be where we find that gold coin. Who knows? Next up is her ideal. Her ideal is number 5. Live and let live. Ideals aren't worth killing over or going to war for. She's more pragmatic. She's seen the death. You know, maybe she was a true believer when she was younger. She joined up and signed, and she joined the army, or in this case, the cavalry. You know, she was delivering battle reports and messages and supplies, riding into combat on a flanking maneuver. But she's seen so many people die. You know, her ideal is that ideals aren't worth going to war for. Why can't we retire on a sunny porch? You know, why can't we live a peaceful life of fishing or sailing or farming? And instead we have to spill each other's blood. Maybe this is why she also plays dragon chess. You know, she has that combative mind. But why are we risking our own lives for land? If your land is so precious to put up, why can't you just play the king of another realm in a game of chess, and then the loser gives up? Why do we have to kill thousands of people? Hey, Green Pappy, good to see you. The gold coin as a focus sounds cool. It has a bit of an Orzhov feel. It does have that. And Josh, maybe we can even use our trinket. And it never hurts to ask your DM in that regard. Whether or not there's something in the Scribe that lets us go about that. Yeah, welcome, Green Pappy. Now, what is her bond? Her bond to the world, to other people, to people, places, things, is number 5. Those who fight beside me are those worth dying for. So we are slow to make friends. The friends we have, we will fight to the bitter end for. Because we don't want to lose them. We do not want to lose them. We've already lost so many. And you know what's interesting? Yeah, I'll get the idea out right now that I'm thinking about it. Over the course of the week so far, we've made 3 elderly characters. And you want to talk about something that writes itself. Let's pretend that we're DMs and we have friends or family members that wanted to play and they made these characters. Do you know how awesome of a story we could run with these characters? Hear me out. Our Phantom Rogue. The sea is freedom. The freedom to go anywhere and do anything. Ideals aren't worth killing or going to war for. I distribute the money I acquire to people who really need it. What if we had these old characters? Almost like, what's the movie franchise that has the older action actors? The Disposables? The Dependables? Expendables. What if you ran, whether it's a one-shot or it's a long or short campaign, it writes itself, everyone. Here we have 3 characters who are in the twilight of their lives, who are looking at a world and wishing it wasn't the way it was. What can they do before they leave this world to improve it? By getting people to stop warring, to stop pirating or enslaving, to stop oppressing people. This is the perfect setup for an expendable style campaign. The Depensables. Kramjade. I'm laughing, but but yeah, think about it, right? Isn't this an amazing prompt? and here's the beautiful part as a dungeon master. Your players have said, I want to play these characters. I think they're cool. That's why I'm giving them to you. As the DM, you look at it and say, I can make a story about this. And it's going to hook all three characters in because it involves all three characters that want to make the world a better place. It's natural. An entire campaign just wrote itself. Iwi, it writes itself. And so here we have our old soldier, those who fight beside me, apparently our Genie Warlock and our Phantom Rogue are getting the gang back together, and these three are going to go do something big. If they're going to go out, they're going to go out in a blaze of glory that would make even the setting sun in the twilight of their years pale in comparison. And wouldn't that be a kick-ass story to run? Now, what is her flaw? We are all flawed creatures. Yes, even you. That's right, I called you out. Her flaw is number 3. I made a terrible mistake in a battle that cost many lives. And I would do anything to keep that mistake a secret. Uh-oh. Did she, as a youth, maybe accidentally deliver battle plans to the wrong camp? You know, maybe she rode in at night or something, and she's like, here, you know, give this to the captain, and then rode off. And then suddenly the enemy got the coordinates and the plans of the army because she was sloppy. Maybe she could have fireballed her own platoon. Hey, at night, you may have dark vision, but you only see in black and white and you get disadvantage. Yeah, she probably has been carrying a guilt, and Death Angel... Yeah, she's trying to... Exactly! Death Angel, you are correct. She's carrying a guilt for something she did when she was younger, and she wants to make up for it before it's too late. And this can resonate if we have a party made up of these characters. What if that mistake somehow was involved with the sea, or with a war that happened, and with the piracy or sailing of Amaria? Or what about here with I named the character as a sort of a combo of the two, Ali Dean. You know, we have someone who goes and sort of Batman's in the night as this genie character to try and lift an oppressive force from the people. So perhaps something that happened here for this to be named character had an effect on the others in some way at some stage in their life. After all those years, she wants to make up for it. Yeah, that one failed adventure. The one that got away. Or on her express route, show the enemy the goat trail. Yeah, exactly. She done goofed. And she's been trying to make up for it. You know, no one knows and no one ever suspected her, but she's carried that guilt her whole life. And now it's time to make up for it because she's seen what happened. And she said, if I never would have done that, you know, the Persians never would have gotten around the gates of Thermopylae. Which is, it's like saying ATM machine, because Thermopylae means hot gates. The gates of hot gates. Which, by the way, if any of you ever, on a similar note, if any of you ever play Magic the Gathering, there's a planeswalker called Koth, specifically Koth of the Hammer. His name is an acronym of his full title. K-O-T-H, Koth of the Hammer. So Koth of the Hammer stands for Koth of the Hammer, Koth of the Hammer, Koth of the Hammer. Koth of the Hammer. K-O-T-H. And hello, Raiders, Mana Designs! Welcome, welcome, everyone. Y'all are, you're coming in at a really juicy point in our character that we're creating together, so please do sit down and enjoy. Yeah, Koth is Koth of the Hammer, But Koth of the Hammer requires Koth to be Koth of the Hammer. It's an infinite loop. It's a wombo combo. Hello, Mana Designs. So looky here, we already have a character, everyone. I don't care what her strength score is. It doesn't matter at this point because we have an awesome character who exists in a world that has a history, that has things going on in it. We can imagine who she is. How does she make decisions? What's happened in her life? And now because of this living, beating heart, this core of the character, everything else can be filled out and we don't need to stress over it. And if we made a party with all of these playtest characters, the playtest party has created a fascinating story to tell. Just by character creation. And us as Dungeon Masters, we sit back and say, yeah, that's pretty cool. Thank you for doing my homework for me. Hi, Trevor the Dwarf. Good to see you again. We're having an awesome night, Mana Designs. We've been popping capsules. We popped a box of Monster Menagerie 1. And we just got going into creating a character. And she's a fascinating little firecracker. Now that we have this core, now let's discover, okay, so we know who she is. What is she as a half-orc? And we'll come down and we'll add in a few stats because, you know, not that you can't explore her lineage or her family. It could be a prompt, but we don't get the same prompt straight up from the racial information that we do from the background, which is why I love starting with the background. We are going to get 60 feet of dark vision. We have a 30-foot move speed, 15 climb, 15 swim, 0 fly. We have menacing. We get the intimidation skill. Now, this is interesting. And I will, you all are going to be my DM here. We already received intimidation for being a soldier. If you have a player that comes up to you and says, I'm playing a half-orc soldier, would you take that double intimidation and turn it into expertise? Would you say, too bad, so sad, and you lose it? Or would you let me as your player put a proficiency into another skill? And if that's the case, given who she is, which skill would you allow? Would you want to give her animal handling because she was in the cavalry? Would you want to give her persuasion because she's polite and respectful? What would you want to do here that would go into her character? I was playing For the King, which is loosely based on D&D, so I figured rating a D&D channel would prove better for my viewers than rating Apex or Call of Duty. Well, thank you for stopping by, Mana Designs, and for all of those who came along with you. You have a seat at our game table in a game store here. You are welcome to sit down and join us in this conversation. And if you have questions, you're welcome to ask. Bullet Club says animal handling. Trevor would go for expertise. And hey, Trevor, it's fine. As a new DM, your opinion is still welcome. It's not necessarily incorrect because either could be a good interpretation. Josh, you think that expertise and intimidation would fit this character? We are making a Order of the Scribe Wizard. She is 57. She was in the cavalry, and is kind of a sentimental person. That's fine. Well, you know, if she was in the cavalry and we have a redundant intimidation, Josh, you know, and if you think she'd get double intimidation, and you can always go through and modify it. Why don't we give her animal handling? No, it's fine. It's fine, Josh. Don't worry. Now, we also have Relentless Endurance. In other words, in Pokemon terms, she has a focus sash. She's a tough lady to put down. She also gets savage attacks, and she can speak Common and Orcish, or Orc, or Orcan, I guess if you want. So, ta-da, we're a half-orc. That went pretty quickly, huh? This is why let's not start with it. Let's find our character, and then we'll add on, like, we'll tack on some of the goodies. Now we're going to make her a wizard. Just 20 levels of wizard. We're not worried about what an Order of the Scribe means. I just want to make a wizard. But does she speak Morcan? Mork or Orc. Like an Orc calling Morrison. Y'all are nerds, and I love you for it. She's a D6 hit die class, and she gets 20 of them since she's 20th level. And hello, Red Barn Games. Thank you for stopping by and giving us a follow. I hope you've been entertained. You are enjoying our thought process and everything that we have going here. Yep, pull up a chair and have a seat in our virtual game store. Our proficiency bonus is a 6. We are going to end up with 5 cantrips by this level. Honestly, before that, but still. Let's label these. So if any of you want to download her after she goes up on Discord, you can fill in where you'd like. 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. For our spell slots. We get no armor proficiencies, but we do get some weapon proficiencies, and I'm simply going to put for weapons, I'm going to put wizard weapons, because it's its own special list. No tool proficiencies. Intelligence and wisdom are going to be our, pardon me. Who knew soda made you burp? There's no warning labels on this. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Intelligence and wisdom saving throws are proficiencies. Now we get to choose 2 skills from Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, or Religion. Now, given who she is, you know, I want to challenge you all, because I'm guilty of this too. When we sit down and we make a character, someone says, hey, who has perception? Anyone? Anyone have I guess I'll take perception? Okay, perception. She has lived her life, not in a meta consideration of a D&D party. Given who she is, well, what would be her skill proficiencies? History seems fitting. Yeah, if she's a scribe, if she's someone who's even played a part in history by being a soldier. You know, for any of you that have been in the military, I want to make sure this doesn't come across as disrespectful. You are history in the terms that you are a part of history with what you do. Your actions then go into the results of whatever ends up in a history book. So I think history would be very fitting for her. You're correct. So I've been polite and respectful. I've lost too many friends. Live and let live. Ideals aren't worth killing or going to war for. Those who fight beside me are worth dying for. And I've made a terrible mistake in a battle that cost many lives. Could that be investigation to perhaps understand or create battle plans? Or investigation to perhaps read a map to navigate to a correct place? Maybe religion because of Scribe. That could work as well. And not just Scribe, you know, she might be a religious person because she's lost so many friends. Because she's seen cities burned. Because she's seen men, women, and children driven from their homes. Or, you know, or worse. You know, religion could very well be how she tries to make sense of things. Alright, so not seeing any other suggestions, which is fine. Let's put it in religion. And if any of you want to change it later, you can. This is our character, not my character. You just boop, click a button, and there you go. Awesome. Starting equipment, I'm not going to worry about it because honestly, when we get to stuff like weapon and all that, if she bonks someone with strength, if she bonks someone with dex, that's what we're going to worry about. Because I don't know, at level 20, she might have a plus 11 billion whatever. You know, honestly, armor class is going to be the same way. I don't know. She can cast spells. Maybe she doesn't have armor proficiency, but maybe she has something magical. I don't know what it'll end up being. But of course, you know, we do get a spell book as well. Yay. I'll put that down here. Spell casting is an ability. Yay. We have rituals. We're going to get Arcane Recovery. Spell Mastery. And Signature Spells. So at 18th level, you've achieved such mastery over certain spells that you can cast them at will. Choose a first level wizard spell and a second level wizard spell that are in your spell book. You can cast those spells at their lowest level without expending a spell slot when you have them prepared. If you want to cast either spell at a higher level, you must expend a spell slot as normal. And by spending 8 hours in study, you can exchange one or both spells. And signature, you gain mastery over 2 powerful spells. So choose 2 third level wizard spells as signatures, and you always have those spells prepared, etc., etc. Pardon, I'm burping. I'm curious about it too, Bullet Club. Insight would be good. If she is slow to trust others, that could be the case, Crumdrade. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, Bullet, we went with history. Not that, I mean, religion can work, but let's mix it up, and Crumdrade made an interesting case. Let's give her insight also. And it does play into her character as well. I don't think we're betraying her character with that. All right. The arcane traditions now. Not going to worry about what's in the book here because we're going to go to the subclass. Magic of the book. That's what many spellcasters call wizardry. The name is apt given how much time wizards spend poring over their spell books, penning theories about the nature of magic, and exploring the farthest recesses of libraries. It's rare to see a wizard traveling without books and scrolls sprouting from their bags, and a wizard would go to great lengths to plumb an archive of ancient knowledge. Among wizards, the Order of Scribes is the most bookish. It takes many forms in different worlds, but its primary mission is the same everywhere, recording magical discoveries in tomes and scrolls so that wizardry can flourish. And while every wizard values their spellbook, a scribe in the Order of Scribes dedicates themselves to magically awakening their book, turning it into a trusted companion. All wizards study their spellbooks, but wizardly scribes talk. Talks to theirs. Is that a mistype? All wizards study their spellbooks, but a wizardly scribe talks to theirs. It was my fault. Okay, we are going to get a wizardly quill. Almost sounds like a character name. Man, that's old. Wizardly quill. As a bonus action, You can magically create a tiny quill in your free hand. The magic quill has the following properties. The quill doesn't require ink. When you write with it, it produces ink in a color of your choice on the writing surface. The gold and time you must spend to copy a spell in your spellbook are halved if you use the quill for transcription. You can erase anything you write with the quill if you wave the feather over the text as a bonus action, provided the text is within 5 feet of you. This quill disappears if you create another one or if you die. Pretty cool, pretty handy. This means that any spell that you have, not just, transmutation gets 50% off transmutation spells. This is, if we're using our quill, then any spell would be at half off. Next, we're going to get an Awakened Spellbook. Using specially prepared inks and ancient incantations passed down by your wizardly order, you have awakened an arcane sentience within your spellbook. While you are holding the book, it grants you the following benefits. You can use the book as a spellcasting focus for your wizard spells. When you cast a wizard spell with a spell slot, you can temporarily replace its damage type with the damage type of another spell in your spellbook, as your spellbook magically alters the spell's formula for this casting. When you cast a wizard spell as a ritual, you can use the spell's normal casting time rather than adding 10 minutes to it. Once you use this benefit, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Cool utility. This, it sounds like it could be overpowering. I don't really think it is, and the fact that you're kind of going out of your way, you would want to collect a lot of other spells, which, as a wizard, you could say, well, I'm going to do it anyway, so what does it matter? So it could arguably just give you free damage alteration. Would it have to be to another spell you have prepared if you're worried that could somehow make something too powerful? Because many of us might, this is anecdotal, many of us might just hand wave and say, yeah, you can buy spells wherever, so, I already know you're going to go for all the elemental types, acid and thunder and all that, so I'm just going to presume that you have those in your book and you can alter it. If you hand wave in that case, or if you're worried that, your player's going to say, I'm going to make everything force because I have magic missile. So it's a force ball, and it's Melf's force arrows, and it's going to be a force sphere instead of a flaming sphere or something along those lines. Maybe make it so it has to be another spell prepared. I can see where this could be a contentious issue if we're talking about playtesting. 5th edition doesn't really count the kind of damage that something deals. It sort of washes out at the end in the broad, in the meta consideration, such that force is the same as fire, is the same as thunder, is the same as bludgeoning, kind of a thing. So this would be something at your table that you would want to make sure to talk about, that you know about as a player, and that your DM knows and can account for. Yeah, psychic fireballs and the like. So there's the overarching rationality that it technically doesn't matter. And then there's that guttural, no, but then everything's just going to be force because nothing resists force except a helmed horror, I think. So, again, maybe a little nitpick to bring up, something for consideration. If necessary, you can replace the book over the course of a short rest by using your wizardly quill to write arcane sigils in a blank book or a magic spellbook to which you're attuned. At the end of the rest, your spellbook's consciousness is summoned into the new book, which the consciousness transforms into your spellbook along with all its spells. If the previous book still existed somewhere, all the spells vanish from its pages. So you Control C or actually it's a Control X and Control V. At 6th level, we are a Master Scrivener, or Scrivener if you prefer. Whenever you finish a long rest... I misspelled that. There we go. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can create one magic scroll by touching your wizardly quill to a blank piece of papier or parchment and causing one spell from your awakened spellbook to be copied onto the scroll. The spellbook must be within 5 feet of you when you make the scroll. The chosen spell must be a 1st or 2nd level and must have a casting time of 1 action. Once in the scroll, the spell's power is enhanced, counting as 1 level higher than normal. You can cast the spell from the scroll by reading it as an action. The scroll is unintelligible to anyone else, and the spell vanishes from the scroll when you cast it or when you finish your next long rest. You are also adept at crafting spell scrolls, which are described in Chapter 7 of the DMG. The golden time you must spend to make such a scroll are halved if you use your wizardly quill. So it's personally, you can't be handing out enhanced fireballs to, the cleric or whatever, the light cleric. Not too terrible. You get a fun little boost. Next up is Manifest Mind. You are now able to conjure forth the mind of your awakened spellbook. As a bonus action, while the book is on your person, you can cause the mind to manifest as a tiny spectral construct, hovering in an unoccupied space of your choice within 60 feet of you. This presence is intangible and doesn't occupy its space, and it sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius. It looks like a ghostly tome, a cascade of text, or a scholar from the past, your choice. The Spectral Mind has a number of hit points equal to your wizard level, plus your intelligence modifier, and it uses your armor class and saving throw modifiers. While manifested, the Spectral Mind can hear and see, and it has dark vision with a range of 60 feet. As an action, you can hear and see using its senses instead of your own, until your concentration ends. Instead of your own, until your concentration ends as if concentrating on a spell. Whenever you cast a wizard spell on your turn, you can cast it as if you were in the Spectral Mind space instead of your own, using its senses. You can do so a number of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. As a bonus action, you can cause the Spectral Mind to hover up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you or it can see. It can pass through creatures but not objects. The Spectral Mind stops manifesting if it is ever more than 300 feet away from you, if it drops to 0 hit points, if you die, or if you dismiss it as a bonus action. So it's a little bit more of an enhanced familiar. You get it at 10th level. I'm sure you could have a lot of shenanigans by having your book cast your spells from 300 feet away, or from 30 feet in the air, or 100 feet in the air, or whatever. But, I mean, by 10th level, all classes are starting to get shenanigans. Nothing on the surface is yelling, "This is broken!" Blah. If there is something that you were like, "Ugh, I don't know about that," because of something or another, shout it out. But I don't know. Gut feeling, this seems pretty okay for a 10th level ability. Very little things have vulnerability, so it's mostly just to avoid resistance. The best way to get around it is also just making everything force or psychic, and that's boring. Josh says, I feel like if you make your player work hard enough for the custom spell, it'll be worth it. Oh yeah, of course, Josh. Earn it in that instance. And one with the word. One with the word. Your connection to your awakened spellbook has become so profound that your soul has become entwined with it. While you are holding the book and its spectral mind is manifest, you can take an action to cause the two of you to teleport, swapping places. You can teleport in this way a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Moreover, if you die but at least one spell remains in your awakened spellbook, you can return to life 1 minute later within 5 feet of the book. You revive with 1 hit point. Then roll 3d6. The book loses spells of your choice that have a combined spell level equal to that roll or higher. For example, if the roll's total is 9, spells vanish from the book that have a combined level of at least 9, which could mean 1/9 level spell, 3/3 level spells, or some other combination. Thereafter, you are incapable of casting the lost spells, even if you find them on a scroll or in another spell book. The only way to restore your ability to cast one of the lost spells is through the Wish spell, which, pardon me, can restore 1 spell to the book per casting. This is something to bring up, as this is an auto-revive. Some DMs may not want that mechanic in their game. It doesn't matter how... you know, story supported it is. They might just say, look, if you die, you die. In that case, you might want to look at a replacement for this ability, or a way to, you know, maybe your DM says, well, maybe you can do it because because of how it manifests. Just, I'm not saying this is a bad ability or that this is even super broken per se. When you're holding the book and its Spectral Mind is manifest, you can take an action. So we can also teleport up to 300 feet away 6 times per long rest, which isn't too shabby. It's almost like the benign transposition, just with a longer range. So, you know, for the first part, it's not terrible. It's comparable to some other wizard stuff. I'm fine. Just be aware that if there is a come back to life mechanic, talk to your DM about it, because your DM might not want that to be in that world. I feel like the point of the ability is to have a variety of damage types, and being mono whatever goes strictly against that, but is also the ideal way to do it. It's not broken, but I think the correct way to play it conflicts with the... Yeah. Because Rytel, in concept, you know, you're like, I'm collecting all the spells, right? I'm collecting all the Pokemon. And then there's just the fact that Psychic and Force damage are the best damage types in a meta sense, because almost nothing has resistance or immunity to it. I mean, Force especially, because, you know, you want to attack a ship, Magic Missile can still, you know, bonk into the wooden planks of a ship. So then you're like, well, then everything's just going to be Force, because I'm going to take the first level spell Magic Missile, and therefore everything is just going to be Force. Even though you are, you know, I think as intended, this is rules as written and rules as intended, Raw versus Rye. It's intended for you to have a variety and to cast Poison Ball, and Melf's Psychic arrows, and Snillock's, instead of snowballs doing cold damage, Snillock's Thunderballs, or something like that. Monospell Wizard only casts Magic Missile. Well, isn't that just what an evocation is? See, Josh is on board with the idea. I don't know, some people that might have been their college nickname. So overall, I mean, from the mechanical point, this isn't bad. I like it. A couple weird things that might need a little clarification, and just consideration and communication in a D&D game. Oh lordy. I think that the swap out can be very much abused unless you have it something else, like it has to be off of another thing that's prepared, which, you know, you could still say, well, but then he's just always going to prepare Magic Missile as well. Yeah, that could be the case, but you know what? If you did these two little out of the way things, fine. You wanted it, you earned it, there you go, instead of just having it be freely accessible. And of course, the comeback to life. You might feel that could cheapen, even though there is a cost at spells. At the same time, you're like, well, I'm just going to get a wish spell. Or, if I die, I'm going to have my genie friend cast the wish spell and support me to bring back my spells. So, I mean, this could be a cost, you know, in some way. But, you know, is it really? I don't know. Auto come back to life, which it kind of is, even though there is a cost. I'm a little, like, meh on it. But that's because I don't like come back to life spells as a DM. Not because I'm like, oh, those darn whatever. I just feel that it cheapens death. Personally. I'm not poo-pooing on a DM that's like, oh yeah, revive and reincarnate to your heart's content. That's two different play styles. Some people like sci-fi, other people like rom-coms. Doesn't mean either person's bad for it. But, you know, I as a DM would sit down and say, well, I get this, but we would probably replace this with something else. Especially because, you know, by this time, you might be able to buy a wish, or to get a wish from someone or something else. Or otherwise, as a DM, I still have to consider a wish needs to exist in the world, and that's if I want to play with wish. It's rare in the core books, Josh, but it's something that we've seen a lot more of in recent Unearthed Arcanas, and in not only in Unearthed Arcanas, but in a couple of the more recent rule books. Using proficiency to scale things has been more in the past, I want to say like year and a half. And the last note here, Wither the Archivist. The Order of Scribes reimagines the Archivist subclass, which originally appeared in the Unearthed Arcana as a subclass for the Artificer. That subclass was well liked, but there was a fair amount of confusion about its story, and many readers thought it might work better as a Wizard subclass. Thematically, the subclass is a perfect fit for the Wizard, who has always been associated with scrolls and the written word in D&D, so we've taken the bones of the Archivist and given it new life as the Order of Scribes. Regarding other Wizard subclasses, we can share that neither of the Wizard subclasses we've presented in Unearthed Arcana recently, Onomancy, that's true name magic, Onomancy and Psionics, will be moving forward in our development process, since they didn't appeal to enough people and we can explore those subclasses' themes in other ways. So if you didn't like their recommendation for Onomancy, it seems like it's getting shelved. Or how they've been presenting Psionic Wizards. Which, Psionics in the Unearthed Arcana, it's been neat, but there's just been this weird, you know, you can technically get around, like, you can technically get a circle through a square hole. It's just kind of awkward to do so. And that's been my gut feeling for Psionics in 5th Ed, that the presentations for them has always been, yeah, we pounded the cylinder through the square hole, but like we really had to kind of force it through there. It happened, but it just felt kind of weird. Yeah, the tracking dice and such, I mean, it's interesting and it's cool to weave it through, but it just wasn't really, nothing about it said I want to play that subclass. It was fun to make characters that did it, but I mean, our characters are fun because they're characters and not just a pile of mechanics and a living math problem. So, ta-da! we have made our character here. Oh, here. And now we can start adding her ability scores. Hey, we're almost done with character creation, and we're only just now adding ability scores. And I love it that way. It's wonderful. Now, while she is a soldier, she is a lot more of, I would say she is a lot more of a thinker. She's someone who endures. I want to say intelligence, wisdom, constitution is really going to be our core here for her. She received maybe some strength training as a soldier, but I really just don't see her as especially dexterous or, she has some charisma, but she's polite and respectful. So maybe it would be like charisma, strength, then dex. Like dex would be the dump stat for her. I think that she has a higher con. She's been through a lot. She's lived through a lot. And I don't know, unless any of you think differently. I think we can go 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. What do you all think? Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, I forgot the Half-Orc. The Half-Orc has a racial modifier here. Strength by 2 and con by 1. Now, if you want, we could swap out strength for dex and just so she'd have 2 10s. But I don't know. Having dexterity as a dump stat would make for a very interesting spell list and the way that she carries herself. Animal handling is more off of wisdom. So she has the constitution so she can ride for a very long time. She has a decent strength so she can hang on. But I don't know if dex is really important in that regard. So if we apply this, she has a 15 con. She has a 12 strength. And now we get to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We get to add 10 points across the board. If you think she's super smart, and I don't see why she wouldn't be, I think that we can add some points to her here. In fact, let's bring her intelligence to an 18. 1, 2, 3. Let's bring her wisdom up to a 16. 1, 2, 3. Let's bring her constitution up to a 16. And now we can increase one more thing by 2. We can cap out her intelligence, which maybe we should. But now that we've diminished this, I want to use this to make a point to you all, if you've never heard this before. If you're ever floating a 1, right? Remember, you get an ability modifier on the even levels. If you're ever floating a 1 and you don't have something like a feat that would give you a +1 or something else, what you can do is take that 1 and drop it into your strength score, because you can still get a mechanical benefit from a higher strength score, because that affects your jumping distance and height, and it affects your carrying capacity, push, pull, drag, lift, etc., etc. And usually by increasing someone's strength from 8 to 9 doesn't somehow break their character from, to be like a weakling into a Mega Hulk. And this means now that we can put 2 points into something else. And maybe we do want to put it into intelligence, or maybe we want her intelligence and wisdom to be tied up. Well, would she, though? Having a penalty is not necessarily a bad thing for her, Kromjade. What would we be concerned with her having a -1 to dexterity? We'll drop the other 2 an int just for, why not? Falling off her horse? Would falling off her horse be dexterity, or would that be more of a strength for holding onto the reins, or using her legs to clutch the sides of the horse? Or for constitution, for being able to ride a horse for hours at a time? And with animal handling being based off of wisdom, all that stuff might even just be condensed into a wisdom check instead of even a physical one. And that's also presuming we don't have a spell, like Phantom Steed, where we wouldn't even have to worry about it after our young days when we didn't have access to Phantom Steed. It's not a bad suggestion, but I think that there's a lot of ways around it that... Maneuvering a horse's dex? I don't know about that. Not that I ride a horse every day, Cromdrade, but I've certainly been on the backs of a few. Maneuvering a horse is very well more of, you know, you have to have that that connection with the animal to read your motion, either because it's a gentle tug of the reins, or you are using your strength in order to guide the horse. Dex saving throws aren't uncommon, but Cromdrade, why do we need to make a dex saving throw if we just have counter spells to get rid of spells, so we don't even need to make a dex? Remember, we're a wizard. We understand that we have arthritis. We're prepared for this. Why even do we need a dex saving throw if we just cancel spells? Right? Our character our character knows, you know, her body in this case, and just as we had our 8 constitution warlock, if we go here in Cromdrade, if you download this character and you want to give her a higher dex, you certainly can. I'm not saying your ideas are wrong or bad, but I want to challenge you all to think about this. You have a character who has some arthritis, or understands she's not too flexible, maybe from bending over a desk and writing, or from riding on a horse for a long time. It's made her a little bow-legged or whatever. And so her lifestyle would adapt to it. The spells that she learns would adapt to it. Oh, hey. Y can be a vowel. Yes, it can. Daly's going after half of my remaining capsules. I only have 8 left, and Daly wants 4 of them.
Y can be Ivan.
All right. Well, we'll find out what you end up getting from those then, Daly. And yeah, and Cromdrade, I know you said that you're new to wizards and spellcasting, but take imagine with a fighter or a monk. If you've played I don't know if you count monk as like a quasi spellcaster. You can play a fighter that has an 8 strength, or a monk that has I don't know, a low dex or something. How can we take this and understand that it's okay? You know, because I agree, Cromdrade, I can fight with that too. Like, no, we got to have a high dex, because mage armor needs dex, and regular armor class needs dex, and dex saves aren't uncommon because of traps, because of this. If we have someone who can cast magic, like find traps, or counterspell, or whatever else, our spells will help us overcome our weaknesses. And we will be very, very proficient. And you know what? By having a very intelligent character like this as well, you know, she's been around the block. She's seen ambushes and traps before. In her book, she would perhaps have plans for that kind of a thing. You know, we can role play into it, but also the mechanics can support and back up our character. We know that we can't get out of the way of a fireball, and people love using fireball. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to counterspell the fireball. because we can't jump out of the way of it. And that is the power of casters, especially wizards. I hope that makes sense for you, Kromdrade, and that I know I'm talking to you. I don't want you to feel like I've put you on the spot or your suggestion is wrong or bad. I totally understand what you're going for. My countering, if only to play devil's advocate, is this is how we can have a fully functional, survivable character with an 8 dex. Because even if we miss a fireball, we're going to be sitting on a pretty good stack of hit points because of our high constitution. And that's if we also don't have other buffs and other things up as well. So consider that, Kromdrade, if you ever do play a wizard or another caster like this, challenge yourself to try mixing it up. Alright, so this is a 1 strength, -1 dex, 3 con, 5 int, 3 wisdom, and 1 charisma. This is going to give us a strength saving throw of 1 and athletics of 7. Dex, we're going to go here. Con is 3, so we can keep our spells up. 11. And 11 for history. 5 and everything else. Our wisdom saving throw is going to be 9, so we're going to be pretty magic resistant for pretty much its wisdom or dex saves for most things. Well, here we're going to be pretty decent at magic saves for other effects. Animal handling is 9, insight is 9, and everything else is 3. And then charisma is 1 down the line, with intimidation being 7. Our passive perception is going to be 13, as that's 10 plus our perception modifier. Our initiative is going to be -1. Roll a d20, subtract 1. You know, our joints are a little stiff, so we're not as quick to act. That's fine. Current hit points, we get all 6. Oh yeah, all 6 of our hit points at level 1, as that's our hit die. Then for our remaining 19 levels, we're going to get 4, as that is half plus 1. And if you work out something different with your DM, then that goes in the formula there instead. Then for all 20 of our levels, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. So from here, we are going to get 76 wizard hit points. It'll end up being 82. And then we're going to get 60 from our con. So we have 142 hit points as a wizard. If we do attack off of a strength weapon, it's at a +7. If we attack off of dex, it's a +5. Then if we attack with our brain power, it's at a +11. And to save against our spells is 19, because you simply add 8 to your attack modifier. It's just a floating 8 for Uratang. Cool. So now we come down here as a wizard. Spells prepared equals our wizard level plus our intelligence modifier. So we can prepare 25 spells among all the spells that we know. We're casting off of intelligence. Our save was 19. Attack is +11. If we wanted, because we were constrained by our Master Scrivener, was it? It was something that was... What was it that was a number? I think it was the teleportation. One of these things used our proficiency. Yeah. So if we want, we could put Manifest Mind. We'll put like MM down here, and we can use it 6 times. If you want to keep track of it as its own little what's a madoodle here. And hey, the beautiful part here for the companion, we could put our sentient, our sort of familiar spell book, the stats here if we really wanted to. I'm not going to do that here. It talks about it in Manifest, or in in Manifest Mind. Let's see. But I'll leave that for you to do because it's just retyping numbers and we don't need to really worry about that. 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. At first level, we get 6 spells in our spell book. And then every level, we can add 2 spells intrinsically to our spell book. We don't have to... we do not have to always buy our spells. We can presume maybe we have some ahead of time that we didn't understand, or it's sort of done in the background. So it's just every level we can add 2 as long as we can cast it. So in this case, because we can't cast level 2 spells, it would just be level 1 spells. And when we can cast level 2 spells at level 3, if you want, take a level 1 spell and a level 2. As long as you can cast it, you can, it's in your book. But if we took our spells as we would take them with our levels, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh wait, I think I'm miscounting. 2. I'm getting ahead of myself. 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, because it's whatever. We'll go crazy. We'll go 19, 20. Why not? If you download this character and you play around with her, move the spells where you want, and add extra ones. If you're playing a wizard like this, it's always fun if you put a note, maybe where you bought it or whom you bought it from. So if you go like, you went to Port Nyanzaru, whatever, Fireball. That way, you have a little note. You can put the location, the person. Your spell book is like a diary of your adventure as a wizard. And have fun treating your spell book like a diary. Where did you buy the spells? From whom? Or did you find them in a treasure pile? Or did you learn them from an old master? Or a wandering crone? Or someone or something else? Have fun with it. And then amongst all your spells, you can choose 25 that you have prepared for that day. And you can swap it up every day that you need to. Yeah, Josh, at the, the cycle was a little disrupted due to the, economic and social distancing concerns going on right now. But after we finish a workshop, I upload the workshop videos to YouTube, which if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, hi. And also the character sheets, so you can download the character sheets and modify them if you want, or run them, or use them in your game as they are, or whatever. And if you're curious about how did we come to a conclusion, you can also watch the video posted alongside it. And hey, Nikki, welcome. And you don't need to be a subscriber. You don't have to even be a follower. It's something, we made it together. It's freely available because it's a group project that we made together. So here we go. So there's a lot more you can add. Like, what spells would she take? And don't forget as well, she can choose first, second, and third level spells to have some mastery over. And which spells would she take to be able to treat like, that she'd be able to treat like cantrips. Which cantrips would she take? And don't forget, you can fill out the companion sheet on this special character page with the stats for your spellbook as well when you manifest it. I love her. She's compelling. She's a product of the world and adds back to the world, both in the lifetime we didn't know her and in the adventure that awaits her to come. And you know what? She needs a name. Maybe she still has a rank of some sort. Maybe she has a nickname. People only know her as something different than what she used to be called. Or maybe she proudly embraces her name because she's worked so hard to build a reputation around it. But you know what? We have an awesome functional character together. And y'all are so imaginative. This has been an amazing build. I tried using the YouTube videos as a podcast-ish thing to fall asleep to. Don't do that. I woke up from being called out by name on stream. Oh no. Yeah, because I do really read chat and call you out. Well, you know what, Rai? I'm glad you gave it a try, and I'm sorry I woke you up in the middle of the night.